Hey everybody, the topic of cancer has been coming up a lot lately, so I thought I would share my experience and just my thoughts. Looking back now, knowing what I know, what I've been through, how I would handle it if I would get a diagnosis of cancer. Well, most of you who have been following my posts for some time know that I had a growth on my thyroid when I was at my sickest. It was right around here. I still remember the day I found it. I was in really bad shape as it was. I had been for a couple of years. Nothing was working. We'd been to the emergency room over and over, and I just couldn't seem to figure it all out. And then on top of it, I find this hard lump on my thyroid. It was, as I said, pretty large, and it was immovable. It was hard, and it had all the markings of the big C. I was working with a natural doctor at the time, and he recommended that I do not go to a doctor and have it biopsied because we didn't want to allow any of that fluid that would come out of that lump to go into the rest of my body and spread it. And I had a cousin who had died because this happened to her, of a doctor biopsying the lump, and it spread throughout her body. So I knew I didn't want to have that. Oh, my family did not agree. I received many calls, visits, telling me to get to a doctor. They were concerned that I was going to die. I held my ground, and I just decided that was not something I was going to do, but I am not recommending that for someone else. That was just my own personal choice. But again, going back to the day I found this out, I remember just sitting on the deck and calling my friend and just sobbing, and then going to my son's house, wrapping my arms around his neck and sobbing, because really in my mind, this was the end of the road for me, right? That's what they teach us, cancer, that's it, you're done. Maybe you can go through chemo and be one of the lucky ones, but it could come back, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. So it took me a couple days to pull myself out of that once I found that lump. And then I just decided that I was going to keep digging in. I was going to figure this out, and I was going to get better. So anyway, then I found Dr. Morse, and we know the end of the story. I survived. The lump is gone. I have never, ever had any treatment on it. I've done this. I've done a lot of juicing. And as you know, I'm really big into the mindset. So if it were me, going back, knowing what I know now, if I could talk to myself then, this is the advice that I would have given myself. First of all, there is an emotion connected to that. And Hilda, I was working with her afterwards, and she said that when we have something in the throat area like that, it means that we are feeling that we are not being heard, that we don't feel like we can express ourselves. And so there is a blockage there. I did a lot of meditation, and I did find my voice, and not everybody was happy with that, but again, it's just part of the process. So let's go back to what I would tell myself. First of all, I would find out what the emotional core issue was here, because everything that manifests in our body is a result of a thought and an emotion that we're feeling. And sometimes these are subconscious, and sometimes we need help bringing out these subconscious thoughts that are buried within ourselves. And luckily, I had been introduced to Laura Hernandez, who was helping me with the emotional part. And so number one, I would address the emotional. I would do a lot of meditating. I would get help in uncovering what was going on there. Second of all, like I said, juicing. I still drink at least three of these a day. There's probably, I don't know, depending on the size of the orange, maybe 10 to 12 oranges in one of these bottles. So that means I'm getting at least 30 oranges a day. You can't possibly eat that amount of fruit. And then after doing the meditation and the juicing, of course, I would do a raw food diet along with that. And lastly, but probably one of the most important, is the deep breathing, the deep rhythmic breathing, the heart-focused breathing that we talk about in the Rejuvenation Key course. And Laura teaches our members how to do that in the course. It is